So I'll do a little vlog now, just otherwise it's going to get dark, and I'll arrive hopefully in Guayaquil soon as well. So this is more of an informative thing. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me because it's quite loud in the back. But this is the general gist from Lima, Peru. I went on Red Bus, which is kind of like a bud bus, but it's way more efficient, way better. I think it might be an Indian company, I'm not sure, but it has all the listings for the buses, and you buy the tickets directly through that website instead of having just kind of a hyperlink onwards to the specific site for every company. And I went with Ittsa Bus, that's ITTSA, and the bus departed at 2 p.m. yesterday, and with an estimated time of 23 hours. And yeah, it took 23 hours and 30 minutes. It was really efficient, and upon arrival you sit in a quite nice seating area. There's 2 stops as far as I'm aware, 2 depots in Lima for Ittsa Bus. They have their own one, which is in Victoria, which is close-ish to where I was staying, which was in Miraflores. And the taxi cost 3 Yango 9 Sol from Serena, which is £2 or $2.50. And 15 minutes before, you show your tickets and you board the bus, and they give you a little food pouch which has in it just a bottle of water and 2 confectionery snacks included. The ticket itself was 100 listed on Red Bus, and that was the same price on their website as well. I cross-checked both, and I input a discount code which was PRIMER, so PRIMER, which is an official Red Bus discount code, and it came down to 92, I believe. So yeah, pretty good, like another $2.50 saved. And about, I would say a little over halfway actually, we stopped again, and I think this is around lunchtime maybe today. No, before that, must have been like breakfast time. Got another little pouch with just a very small roll in it, a bit of ham and 2 sweets and a juice box, again all included. And we arrived in Tumbes at 2:35. At the estimated time at 2 o'clock should have arrived. And from there, that's where it gets kind of tricky and difficult, at least as far as the research goes on the internet, because they've got a really ridiculous system here where you have 2 roads to the Ecuadorian side. So you've got one which is a footbridge which takes you straight into the town. It's almost like a shared town with a line driven through the middle, so you can just pass freely across. But of course then you wouldn't get your Peruvian exit stamp nor your Ecuadorian arrival stamp, so you have to take the Pan American Highway, which is relatively close, which dots to the right hand side of it. But then it's even more confusing because you have a Peruvian arrival and Ecuadorian departure on the Peruvian side, about 15 minutes drive on the Peruvian side, and then you have the same thing again on the Ecuadorian side, Peruvian departure this time and Ecuadorian arrival, completely nonsensical. So a dual office on both sides, but not at the border. 15 minutes on the other side, actually about 5 minutes drive on the other side, 15 minutes beforehand on the Peruvian side. So to get from Tumbes to there, when I exited the Ittsa bus station, now this is very useful information because you've got so many different companies, the information is completely correct online, people are posting things from years ago. Many people that write these blogs have never actually been to the country, they're just making it up as they go along, or just extracting bits of information and essentially creating a fictitious narrative, which isn't helpful at all. And I spent quite a while doing research on the bus, obviously, because I had time, and yeah, none of this information was useful in the end. I even stopped the tuk-tuk driver who eventually would take me from a place called Sumila, I think it is, which is a town just before the border point. I stopped him at the immigration post, but on the Peruvian side, which also has an Ecuadorian office in it for people departing Ecuador. That's on the Peruvian side, and people arriving in Peru. That's naturally on the Peruvian side, but then you have the same thing on the other side. So I stopped him at that one because that's where I thought you had to get your stamps, and that's not the case. But anyway, long story short, when you leave the Ittsa bus station in Tumbes, there is like a kind of a collectivo station directly opposite on the right hand side, and there were just regular cars and like larger collectivos going. For a car seat I paid 7 sol and had to wait 30 minutes exactly for it to fill up, and there were already 2 passengers in there, so we waited 30 minutes just for one more passenger because there are 4 seats of course plus the driver. And then that took about 20 minutes to get to Zumila. The price was the same to Zumila, naturally, as it would be to the actual foot border, because again, locals take this and just go back and forth. They don't care about the entry-exit stamps for the most part. So then from there, I then had to get a tuk-tuk, and I only had 13.70 soles in change. They quoted me, though naturally probably more than it should have been, because I read online it should be about $1. 10 sol to get to the Peruvian border post, but then I quickly realised maybe actually that was all the way to the correct one. So I was quoted 10 originally because I was pointing to the wrong one on the map, and then a guy just came along and said 15, and I said I've only got 13.70. He said okay, 13.70 is fine, and it took me all the way to the Ecuadorian side on a slow tuk-tuk. The whole journey took like about 20 minutes, so in a car probably like 7 or 8 minutes. Google Maps is really inaccurate, as is the case in many places in Peru, or many places in the world for a matter of fact. You can't really judge the route both on foot nor in a vehicle via what you see through these applications. And an example of that would be the Choque Corral hike, which a 9-day hike I did in 2.5 days. So how inaccurate can Google be in that respect? And that's taking an average with no sleep as well. Someone just taking that particular route. So yeah, so in the end I paid 13.70, which is around, what is that, like $3.50, and then $2 for the car, so yeah, 5.5, 6 maybe. And then I was really lucky at the border itself. The whole process, there wasn't a single person queuing at all. It took less than 2 minutes to get the Peruvian exit stamp and the Ecuadorian arrival stamp. It's in the same room. There's also toilets there that are free, but they're really disgusting. And then as soon as I left, I planned on walking into the town and grabbing a bus. This is the town on the Ecuadorian side, or stopping and flagging a bus. But luckily one pulled up, and it was actually the Cifa bus, or one of many Cifa buses. And I paid the driver 10 in cash, USD. We then backtracked back round into the town and waited another 35 to 40 minutes for all the passengers to get on the bus that have the official ticket. So I was never given a ticket. Even now I'm at the back of the bus, having moved about 10 seats upon people embarking, because I just paid the guy cash. So that's the gist of the journey to the Ecuadorian border from Lima. Conclusion, I would say the Ittsa Bus Company is the best bus I've taken in years for the price paid, which was 19.95 English pounds exactly, with that discount included. So yeah, it's about 25 USD, a little bit more, directly from Lima to the border, and then again another 7 sol plus another 13.7 sol, and then 10 USD for this bus, which goes to Guayaquil in the north, and it should be the Independence Day tomorrow and Monday of that city. So that's kind of why I wanted to rush it. And yeah, I hope that was informative for people looking to do the journey. And I hope this toilet doesn't get used too much. But so far, so good.